Good morning. Welcome to Snap Take. We're going through the top 10 cards in Marvel Snap, and we are at number 2, Shuri. I'm not even bothering to start with anything else. Shuri clone is currently the scourge of the meta. Shuri is a 4-2. On reveal, double the power of the next card you play. Like and sub to see why Shuri is the number 2 card in the game. Actually, just like and sub anyway. If you've been playing Marvel Snap, you already know. Okay, this deck is absolutely nuts. What it wants to do is fundamentally play armor in one lane, play Cosmo in a second, Shuri into likely the armor lane, then play a 26 power Red Skull into a 26 power Taskmaster. Have a great day. Good luck topping the power of that. Thanks for coming. Any combos therein make this deck even stronger. I've got a whole video on Shuri decks. I will link below on all the different ways that you can basically combo off the Shuri Red Skull combo. It's stellar. Shuri is one of the best cards in the game. However, if you open Shuri early in pool 3, there's not an absolute ton to do with her. In fact, this was basically the best I could come up with. This Shuri deck runs Dagger and Magneto as pool 3s, though you don't especially need Magneto. Something like Hulk will work just fine here in order to combo off the power of Shuri and say your opponent doesn't know exactly where things are going to end up, so it gets really hard to contest. Shuri on top of Vision moves things around really well. Shuri on top of Arrow pulling a card where you want it, and that card is likely smaller than that 16 power Arrow, is really nice. Early plays like Vulture and Craven and Dagger, especially if you're still seeing a lot of Thanos, can lead to a fair amount of power, and that power is does well at contesting a location, while Shuri will basically single-handedly contest at least one more. This deck is very good. It's not great, but it's very good. You really need some more stuff to take care of Shuri. Again, compare that to this deck, where Shuri is combined with She-Hulk and Red Skull and Taskmaster and Polaris and Zero, and Titania for best effect, whereas the other deck runs very few pool 4s. If you want the best deck in the game, unfortunately, that means you need to get through a lot of pool 3 without any real great way to speed through it. There are, however, other good Shuri decks. My personal favorite is Moon Shuri. I like the choice of a turn 4 Shuri or Moon Girl to combo into She-Hulk. That's one of my favorite plays in the game. If you can Moon Girl, skip turn 5, you can play She-Hulk and Taskmaster, or you can play She-Hulk with things like Titania or the Demon. Quinjet making that potentially cheaper if you do manage to spend 1 energy there to get something out of your hand or something along those lines. While Moon Girl is while Shuri is even better for the She-Hulk Taskmaster combo. That's 18 power across 2 lanes right there. And that lets you aggressively play your Hood and Titania and cards like that in order to try and gain power early. Shuri provides optionality to this deck. I've seen a lot of versions of this that don't run Shuri. I disagree. I think if you can have a 36 power last turn of the game, it's probably worth doing so. The last way to play Shuri that we're going to go over today is this sweet Galactus deck. Many Shuri decks don't run Galactus. Many Galactus decks don't run Shuri, but Shuri gives an extra opportunity for those to win the game. Quick ways how are you can Shuri into Dr. Octopus if you are not sure if you're going to see Galactus, and pulling all those cards in will often win you a lane. At that point, something like Shang-Chi will also often win you a second lane. Another option you could have is you could wave into Galactus on turn 3 and 4, and then on turn 5, you can Shuri into Death and America Chavez without losing priority and just straight up win the game right there. Shuri also works reasonably well with Nimrod and shells like this. Shuri is a giant stat stick and could easily be the number 1 card in the game. There is one card I think is slightly more powerful, but again, any of the top 3 could come in any order here. Shuri is the second best card in Marvel Snap, according to me. Catch it later on today for the number 1 card in all of Marvel Snap. Have you figured out what it is yet? Like and sub. Let us know during the day. If you get it right, you'll be entered into next week's giveaway.